And we take a look at the New Jersey rules. Dave, what do we have in store here?
Several key ones. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The standing 8 count also in effect counts as a knockdown. The physician can stop the fight as opposed to the referees. Also, the 10-point must scoring system in effect. 3 judges score the fight. The fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round.
All right, you're up to date on the rules. That's Vince Phillips on the verge, they think, of a title shot. Tyrone Downs, after a several-year layoff, fighting at about 15 pounds, well, maybe 10 or 12 pounds heavier than he has before. We are into round 1. It is scheduled for 10. We're delighted you joined us this evening.
It will be interesting to see whether Phillips has a scouting report and knows about Downs being off and tries to start quickly himself.
I'm sure they're aware of the layoff. We'll just see how much more quickly Phillips might start. There's the hook of Vince Phillips. It's a good one. You saw it in his last fight against Harold Brazier here on ESPN, a sparkling performance, which he won a decision over Brazier and really looked very good, especially toward the end of that fight.
It was a win that put him over the top in a lot of people's minds. Brazier, a credible foe, and really somebody who extended Phillips and made him be more versatile.
Phillips is 28 years old. He boxed in the Army and then turned pro and had a bout with drugs, but has overcome that and has gotten back into top form. Was halfway through round 1.
Both fighters still measuring, not exactly accurate so far. Jabs by Phillips just going over the top and coming up a little bit short. We'll be seeing him try to adjust throughout the fight to get his distance down.
There's the hook by Phillips getting in. And Dave said he's trying to measure Downs with his jab.
And also not to gamble too much. You might see an opening in the first round, but if it's not perfect, a fighter might sit there and wait, put it in his pocket, get the opening again, and really capitalize.
Just over a minute left to go in round 1, a round in which Tyrone Downs is getting through it at least. And when you come off for a couple-year layoff, you want to get through those early rounds. Again, the hook by Phillips. He has power in it.
Downs already acknowledges with a shake of the head. He's been retreating. Downs has not been able to get any type of leverage into any of his shots here as he studies the situation.
Half minute left to go in round 1, scheduled for 10. The Phillips jab going out there, and Tyrone Downs, as Dave mentioned, not able to get too much offense going here in round 1. He has what I think accurately can be described as Art Deco trunks on.
Give him some style point award.
Yeah, he just slipped on this ring. His shoes look a little slippery, Tyrone Downs. He hopes he'll gain his footing and gain an advantage as this fight goes on. We'll be back for round 2. Stay with us. Phillips coming out for round 2 in this battle of junior welterweights. His opponent, Tyrone Downs, who starts out by whacking him with a couple left hooks. Downs, the 32-year-old, who was formerly a junior lightweight, has stepped up to junior welterweight.
How tentative was that first round for Vince Phillips? I was just randomly counting and discovered that he was 6 for 42 in the jab department in the first round.
You were randomly counting. Those numbers didn't come from Punch Profile, perhaps.
They confirmed what I was thinking.
Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know you were such a computer for a mind, Dave. I'm impressed. Phillips trying to get that left hook in.
He's trying to set it up with the jab and then move around with it. Downs has been cagey as far as survival so far. He lands a couple shots and then he's off on a different angle.
And they want Vince Phillips. Kenny Adams told him in the corner to try and attack him not just straight on, but from different angles. There's the right hand. And boy, that right hand played havoc with Harold Brazier. It landed a number of times against him. And landing anything against Harold is not easy. Dave, Downs is showing himself to be a canny veteran, though.
He can survive in this fight for a little while the way he's been doing it, not taking too many chances and Right now, he's got a bit of a survivor's mentality. He wants to get through these early rounds and try to get a feel for what's going on. Of course, he's been away, and he knows he's in with somebody who has a pretty good puncher's reputation.
That right hand may have stunned Downs. Phillips landed a good one there a moment ago.
And it may make Downs a little more tentative throughout the fight because it came right after Downs missed the mark with the left hand.
Downs gets his own right in, but Phillips responds. So far, Vince Phillips has not gone to the body too much. Sneaky right gets in, and Downs shakes his head.
And that body shot is there for him with the way the hands are held up by Downs.
Tyrone Downs smacking him with a slapping left hook, but getting in.
And he made Vince Phillips a little bit mad there. Phillips went to the body without leaning forward to protect himself, and his head was entirely open.
Well, Tyrone Downs, though he took this fight on, I guess, less than a week's notice, said he was training and was in shape and expecting another fight, I think, on later this month.
He thought he'd be fighting again in 2 weeks, so he really was giving it an honest preparation.
Only seconds remain in round 2, a round in which Tyrone Downs showed some life. Whether he won, it's another question, but he did land his share of punches. They'll have a lot to say, I think, Kenny Adams will in Vince Phillips' corner. Let's listen in.
Not a bad round, but the point I want you to think about again is when he starts in this combination, you block, parry, you catch. Then after you block, parry, and the catch, then I want you to come back with your combo, okay? You got to dig more to this body. I want you to step a little bit to the right. I want you to drop the right hand to the body, drop the right hand to the head, pivot again and hook. You got that? Drop the right hand to the body, the right to the head, pivot and hook. Not bad, but not bad, but you can use your jab. You can use your jab a lot more, okay? And you're standing in front of him a little bit too much. Give him a little different.
Phillips does get the right hand in here, perfectly over the left hand of Downs. Downs gets his way back with a slapping left hand from a distance and then gets out of a way of a counter shot. Downs will try to frustrate his opponent throughout the fight.
Let's go. We're into round 3. Vince Phillips heads out to meet Tyrone Downs. They're scheduled for 10. They are junior welterweights.
I think Vince Phillips ought to get his jab working faster. Even if it's not landing, start putting 2 or 3 together so he can find his own rhythm. Drive Downs back a little bit and then find some room to punch.
It's a very good point. There are the punch numbers, and you can see Vince Phillips with the edge. Boy, he's throwing a lot more, isn't he?
He's throwing a lot more. He's also pouring a lot more.
And we, as we have done on several occasions recently, we have Kenny Adams in the corner right now. Kenny, you told Vince Phillips to start throwing those right hands and then coming with the hook. Why do you think that'll be open for him?
Well, primarily, this is something I really want him to work on, is dropping the right hand to the body and then dropping it to the head and then pivot and then shoot the hook. So what he was there in a position to do it then.
Yeah.
There it is there.
He just threw the right hand but didn't pivot around.
Right, he did. And that's what he's got to do more of. And I do. And you were exactly right. I want him to throw more jabs, which he's doing this round, picking the jab up and going to pick his pace up. But primarily, I wanted him to get some work, and I wanted him to kind of do some boxing at the same time, get good work in.
All right, thanks, Kenny.
All right.
We will check back in with Kenny a little later on, perhaps. Halfway through round 3. Vince Phillips in the blue trunks, the former Army champion boxer, is an amateur, and he has done quite well for himself as a pro, 24-0 against the veteran Tyrone Downs.
Phillips is trying at times to lure Downs to come near him so that he can shoot with that right hand to the body.
Downs trying all the little tricks of a veteran here to make Phillips lose his cool.
He's throwing left hooks from weird angles, and he's not gambling. He takes a shot. He's happy to get out of there. And that can test the discipline of many fighters.
Under a minute left to go in round 3. Some thought this might be over very early because Downs hasn't fought for a long time, and he's coming in here on short notice, but he has shown that he is not totally ill-equipped to deal with Vince Phillips.
And the longer he's here, the braver he should get.
They exchanged left hooks there a moment ago. Tyrone Downs is not hurting Phillips, but he's landing. That was a good right hand to the head of Vince Phillips.
And he's squared up there from an awkward stance, and Phillips was in a bit of an awkward shot himself.
And so round 3 goes into the books, and it is a contest. Tyrone Downs showing pretty well here for a fighter on last-minute notice. But in his corner, you won the second and third rounds. You are the boss. So they feel that he won those rounds. Would Dave Bontempo concur?
I wouldn't have said that in his corner. Well, I actually had Phillips winning 3 very tight rounds through here.
There's the jabs that thrown so far, and Phillips throwing, what, about 4 or 5 times the number of jabs.
And up to 29 through 3 rounds, an average of 10 a round, but he still has to pick that up, and actually, proportionally, he is.
You know, when you come and you're an analyst here in Top Rank Boxing, you realize we upgrade the math part of that role. You actually can divide and subtract and multiply and all those things that I can never do, Dave.
Well, it's a perfect complementary team. It's been a sluggish stalk method of attack for Vince Phillips here. He's finding that Downs is nowhere, then he's everywhere, and really not anxious to mix it up.
Tyrone Downs fighting the kind of fight it would take for him to win. He may need to do a little bit more, but at least he's giving himself a chance to win.
Staying in there long enough. I would look for Phillips, of course, not only jab, go to the body more, but the uppercut should be there for him at some point in this fight.
And there he tries it right after you said it. It didn't quite land. It's missing a lot. There's this short little uppercut from Downs. Tyrone Downs showing us, as I said, what a canny veteran he is. You mentioned he's a 32-year-old. There is a good right hand from Tyrone Downs.
We're seeing Vince Phillips fight a little more flat-footed at times than we have in some fights, and he's not stepping with his jab. That's one reason he's been short. He's loading up.
Big right hand followed by the uppercut you mentioned, and there's the jab by Phillips. You know, and there's the hook after the right hand. It didn't land. Vince is starting to put his punches together a little bit better.
And get a little bit closer to a big shot. Missing by about half as much as he did before. If he could get to that body, he would slow the movement of Downs and then close the distance.
Tyrone Downs did once have a title shot. You saw glimpses of it against Jeff Fenech in Melbourne back in 1988. He lost, knocked out in the 5th round in his attempt to win the super featherweight title, I guess that was, wasn't it?
That was against Fenech.
Right hand gets in. A good round so far for Vince Phillips with only a half minute left to go. That right hand strays low, and he will get a warning from Robert Palmer.
He was on a bad angle when he let that go, and that's why Phillips came in low with him.
Good jab by Vince Phillips. So round 4 is in the books, and for Vince, he's got to be happy with what he did. It was an improvement for him. In racing action, the NASCAR Winston Cup champion.
And Downs gets a grazing right hand, actually better than a grazing right hand. Good short chopping punch, and Vince Phillips ties him up.
So as we head into round 5, approaching the halfway point of this match, I mentioned earlier, many people didn't think it would go this far. Tyrone Downs, the veteran who has not fought since 1989, and stepping up in weight. But sometimes, Dave, a last-minute replacement who you don't expect to do well is going to give you a lot of trouble.
That's right. There's a tendency to let up against the style and really not get motivated the same way. And this has been a sluggish performance up until now for Vince Phillips. His intensity doesn't really seem to be all the way there. He looks a little bit tired so far in the fight. He's landing punches, and he's got a good lead as far as the landed punches category goes. But the fire is not there. He's going to have to just labor through to get this one tonight.
It's ironic, in his last performance against Harold Brazier, Vince was as sharp as you could possibly be. Oh my, good left hook sends Tyrone Downs to the canvas.
He might have heard you.
Well, Vince Phillips has power in the left. He showed it there. Downs up quickly, takes the mandatory 8 count, and things will continue. But for how long remains to be seen. Phillips going to work on it.
He needs the body shots here and the uppercuts because Downs is trying to cover the head and slow the pace of the fight.
Vince Phillips.
Sharp left hook by Phillips.
Yeah, I was going to say he has found a home for that hook, and he's going to try and crank it up again, you can be sure.
And he showed some nice movement there as Downs extended the hand out, and Phillips moved suddenly to his right and was able to get his right hand home. He's doing things he didn't do earlier.
Big power punches. You get a good view of it from Tyrone Downs' viewpoint. Downs really putting his punches together.
Downs is like in an 11-foot ring right now. His movement is slowed down, and he's got a long battle here.
A minute left to go in round 5. And surrounded with Vince Phillips has put Downs to the canvas for the first time in this match. Again, the hook for Phillips. And the right. Downs is hurt again, and that body shot didn't do him any good either.
That's an investment in the quick finish of this fight, even if it doesn't happen right now. But he senses the victory here, and Phillips is going for it.
And there's the uppercut you mentioned earlier, Dave, becoming a factor for Phillips. Downs missing badly. He has done very little offensively this round. He's been hurt almost from the get-go.
Vince Phillips is a gun now, taking aim and trying to land the big one.
Downs is feigning being hurt, but that, of course, is just bravado. Just seconds remaining here in round 5. And it has been a good one for Vince Phillips. We peek into Tyrone Downs' corner. Could be some concern there.
Give me that sponge. Give me that sponge.
No, don't squeeze.
Don't squeeze. Give me the sponge.
Right here.
Where is it?
Bring him out.
Give me the ice pad. Give me the ice pad.
And here is Phillips coming over the top. The right hand doing some good damage there. The left hook on a retreat scores the knockdown, landing it, looked like by the temple, and that's why it was an effective shot.
Wait, don't lean in with it.
Don't straighten up with this guy, okay?
I can't stop my jacket.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Stay this thing.
This is your round. He's tired as shit, Tyrone.
Come on.
Use your head. Look at this.
My piece.
He's tired.
Let's go.
Break
Go
his
out.
jaw, Tyrone. His jaw is wide open.
Keep your hands up. Move your head. Don't go to the rope.
We move into round 6. It is scheduled for 10. Vince Phillips in the blue trunks. Tyrone Downs in the multicolored trunks. Downs was down in the 5th round. And there's an example of how huge that 5th round was for Phillips.
And numbers also tell a story as Phillips landed 75% of his power shots in that round, 45 of 60. So he's loading up, and Downs is right in front of him now.
Pep talked to Downs in his corner. You heard it, but I don't know how much conviction there is with that. They feel Phillips is tired, but he certainly doesn't look tired. Oh, big right by Downs, but Phillips comes back and hurts him with his own right.
There's not much Downs' corner can do for him now. They can't give him stamina, and they can't give him a feel for this fight.
Dave, don't you think body work by Phillips, you mentioned, it would really hasten Downs' demise?
Yeah, it would, and I'm a little surprised he hasn't gone for it more. Probably he hasn't because the headshots were so prominent for him there in the last round, and he's headhunting more.
Al Bernstein, along with Dave Bontempo, who writes for the Casino Player and also AP, Boxing's fine correspondence. We're happy you joined us. Good right hand by Vince Phillips. That one hurt Downs again. So now the weight and power of Phillips and the fact that he's a legitimate junior welterweight starting to take hold here.
Phillips looks like he's got somebody with time to burn. He's in no hurry here to finish off an opponent who is ready to go. If he really forced the issue here, he could get Downs out right now.
And that may do it. Good right hand. Tyrone Downs down quick, but up before the count of 3 even. So Tyrone Downs giving it his full effort. He's been down twice, but showed no signs of wanting to stay down.
Let's see if Phillips adjusts now and comes forward with some more.
And Downs attacking, Dave, surprisingly not retreating.
Yeah, a desperate fighter will do a lot to take his one last shot. And that body shot hurt also. But we don't see combinations from Phillips here. He's trying to do it with one punch.
And combinations are what we saw against Frazier.
You have to let the hands go. Many shots may not land, but when they start to get in, they'll come in combinations and be very powerful.
Half a minute left to go in round 6. As in the 5th, Tyrone Downs hit the canvas in this round. He was hurt again there, I think, by a left hand by Phillips. Big right hand. Now he's in trouble.
There's the uppercut. He could do it right here.
Good body work, and it's the body work that sends Tyrone Downs to the canvas for the 2nd time here in the 6th round. Will they let it continue? It'll go on. He's got to last 3 more seconds here. Just barely, with the 3 knockdown rule in effect.
I don't think they should let it go on. He went down on his own.
Give me that sponge. We need five water bucket now. Sides on out, please. Yeah, hey, right? Yeah, wants to.
And Phillips coming through here. The right hand perfect on the button behind the jab, and down immediately went Downs. And he comes back and continues to go to the assault. Another good right hand shot.
That one was an excellent straight right hand. Here's a 2nd knockdown.
As he continues. Now this time Downs will do it himself here. He's being hit on the side. These shots hurt the ribs, and he goes down and sort of takes the fair catch himself. I'm surprised they're letting it go if they do.
From another angle, it's just as painful to Tyrone Downs. He takes the body shots. And they will let it go on.
And, you know, the first thing they said in his corner, they said, how do you feel? He said, exhausted. But that wasn't picked up.
Yeah, that's right. We heard it, but the referee wouldn't have heard it. And I think this bout will end here in the 7th. Vince Phillips going after Tyrone Downs and going after him in a big way.
And in 4 holds, we might see Downs put up a brief flurry here in the beginning while he's fresh, and then Phillips go to the assault.
Here you see the story in round 6. Vince Phillips has picked up his... Those are Vince Phillips-like numbers. He normally is a very accurate puncher. I think probably he's one of the guys that has done as well as you can do in the punch profile since we've been counting for the last several years here in ESPN.
And after the first 3 rounds, where it took us some time to get his rhythm, Phillips came on. And he did it after he cut down the distance to Downs, and that should be it.
Tyrone Downs claiming it wasn't a knockdown. The referee says not only is it a knockdown, you're through. I've seen enough. Downs claiming he slipped. I have to confess, while he was knocked down, Tyrone Downs did recover quickly.
Yeah, but I think what referee Bob Palmer didn't like is that that was the 2nd voluntary knockdown that Downs took in such a short period of time. And it was only a matter of time after that.
So Vince Phillips racks up another victory, shows the power that we know he has. And Fernando Sanchez, who was supposed to be his opponent here tonight, could not get into the country because of visa problems. Could still be an interesting test along the way. Here we'll see the ending of things.
And Phillips, knowing he can hammer home the right hand, does it to the head and then to the body. And again, as he did in the previous round, he puts Downs on the canvas. Downs gets up and says, hey, who, me?
Yeah, I don't think he slipped. I think he just went down voluntarily, as you point out. We'll see. Maybe
there's a good shot to the ribs there. That's a quality punch by Vince Phillips. And, you know, Downs is probably happy he got up so quick, but he couldn't continue anymore.
All right, so Vince Phillips, the winner. To give us all the details, let's go up to Michael Buffer.
And 1 second in round number 7, the winner by TKO. He's still undefeated. His record now 25-0 with 17 knockouts. Cool Vincent Phillips.
So Vince Phillips keeps rolling along toward what he hopes is a junior welterweight title. Dave Bontempo will talk to him. Don't go away. The winner tonight, and he's up in the ring with another winner, Dave Bontempo. Dave, take it away.
Thank you. Well, Vince, a slow start. Was his awkward style a problem for you in the beginning?
Well, no, not really. We talked about in the dressing room, me and my trainer, Coach Ken Adams. We talked about boxing the first 3 rounds to see what his ability was, what his skill was, what he's capable of doing. We knew he had experience and all. And then after the 3rd round, Coach Adams told me to get closer to him and pick it up a little more, and that's what I did.
Well, you really did pick it up and go to the power. What was the biggest adjustment you made after round 3?
Well, after I saw how he was moving the first 3 rounds and trying to throw haymakers, and then he'll move again, try to counter off me. So I started stepping in a little more with my body shots, going to the right to the body and back to the head and to the hook. My hook was there all day.
And you certainly got him with the shots to the ribs with the right hands.
Yeah, Coach Adams told me to start digging to the left, step to the right, dig to the right, and come back over with the right hand to the left hook.
Okay, Kenny, a quick assessment on their performance tonight.
Well, I thought it was good. Consider this young man had a lot of experience, and our key was for Philip to be the complete boxer. And I think the point is that he went out and did that. Used the jab, the right hand, the hook, combination, slip, block, and parry. And that's the key to him being a better fighter who is prepared to fight the winner of Pineda and Whitaker.
Okay, we'll see how that comes off. Thank you, Kenny. Now we'll take it back down to Al.
All right, Kenny Adams, not an easy man to please, but Vince Phillips did it. Coming up, welterweights, Bill Mastrangelo and Marco Di